Hi, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to my podcast, Big Wonder. I wanted to do a hello, an intro to anyone that's watching. I've done, you look on my channel and you'll see that I'm an actor. There's links to my photography. I've been a photographer for 21 years now, professionally for about 11, and an actor for about 4 years, and the host of my podcast for 8 weeks. And so I wanted to, after a few things have been thrown on the channel, to do a little bit of a hello and explain to people what the podcast is about, what I'm about, what potentially or what they will see on the channel. So primarily, I'm an actor. I work as a photographer in order to pay the bills, and acting is my number one passion and dream. I started the podcast after listening to Houston Howard talk about building an audience for your brand, as most people looking at the amount of views on YouTube videos that are teaching people how to build brand awareness are familiar with what it takes. Videos and Instagram and Facebook and hashtag this and hashtag that and blah blah blah. But here I am jumping in. So anything that I do in the acting world, you'll see on my channel, and that's what my agent uses to promote me. Any self tapes or showreel scenes or clips that I get back from any work that I do as an actor will go on there. And every week or so, I'm putting out a podcast. Now, the podcast, something I'm really enjoying doing, and the podcast is me chatting with filmmakers here in Melbourne, who were something other than a filmmaker before. And what I mean by that is an actor who has now branched out due to necessity into writing and producing and filmmaking, or a writer who's now acting, or a director who's now someone who's in the film world primarily, and I will be talking to other creatives. I have a really great guest coming up. Chester Bricks is a young band here in Melbourne who've just been over in Nashville and Austin and what have you, crushing it. So I'll have them on the show soon. But anyone who's having to branch out, do a bunch of things in order to stay relevant, to create content while still juggling a fucking 9 to 5. I shoot real estate and audition whenever I can get my hands on one, and pushing that dream on. And some of my guests, they're laborers and they're plumbers, and they've done great things, So that's what the podcast is about. So if you're interested in the film world and what it takes at this level, and what people at this level have to say, because it's not really a platform for us. These platforms or opportunities to have this discussion only exist for the people that really have made it, that I'm aware of. I'm sure there are some out there, but I haven't crossed their paths. And the overarching objective for the podcast is to eventually one day it be a place where people go to float ideas. Now, I talk about a feature film that I'm working on a lot, and every guest that I've had on so far has just written something, or they've just made something. They're in post-production, or they are doing the rounds on something that they have made themselves. So in a couple of years' time, I hope that, producers, if you're listening, studios, networks that are looking for something fresh or whatever, someone will say, hey, there's a podcast in Australia called Big Wonder, and there's this guy talking to people, and they're floating ideas that are looking to be greenlit. So that's the objective for the podcast. I will also, as I go along, I'm dipping my toe into the affiliate space. So any of the tech that I use, I'm a Nikon man and an Apple user, and I use a Focusrite in order to record the dialogue, and I use Shure mics. I'll talk about them sporadically, and I provide links, and please, anyone, reach out if you're just getting into photography for the first time and you want to know, I was in high fashion for 7 years before I became a portrait photographer and then dipped into real estate. I did some reportage in East Timor. Anyone who's looking for tips on acting, they want to shoot show reels, any of the gear that I use for that, the lighting setup, please absolutely get in touch. And if I can help out in any way, I absolutely will. And I will provide links to anything that I'm using. And full disclosure, yeah, if it's an affiliate link, I stand to make a gain for sure. And I hope to monetize the podcast at some point and have that be part of my income, because what that's what we're all striving for, right? As creatives, is to be paid to do the things that we love. So I think that's a pretty decent little overview. Like I said, get in touch if you're interested in more, or there's someone you'd like me to get on the podcast. Reach out if you're an actor and you want me to audition for something, or you want to talk about doing some workshopping of scenes. I'd love to hear from you as well. And if you're looking for a portrait photographer, anything but weddings, I'm your guy. Get in touch. Thanks for watching.